How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and it's just a bit of a chilled, short video today. It's kind of hard on this game to keep videos pretty short. Even the smallest missions end up being pretty long. But yeah, this one's called Magnitude of 5. Like I said, it's a pretty easy, simple one. You've got to come out of the garage, go and get 2 lots of fuel, and then basically there's a route I've been taking quite often since I've been doing the Amandra map missions, where kind of along the top left of the map, I cut across the lake instead of going along the road. And half the reason for that is the road's blocked, and doing this mission basically, yeah, removes the roadblock, and you can now cut through there. If I'm honest, when I actually did it in the end, I drove through there and past that, and I kind of remember there's a load of like really deep super snow beyond that, so having done this mission, to be honest, I think I'll still just be cutting across the lake anyway, because it's not actually that bad getting from the road to the lake. And yeah, once you're on the lake, as long as you know where the bits of breakable ice are, then you can get around them pretty easily. And as I said, the super snow's just, it's not really challenging, it's just a bit slow and boring, so I think I'd rather go over the lake anyway. But yeah, heading now, I thought I'd take the old Azov Antarctic out, just because one thing I wanted to try with this is, obviously it's got the biggest tyres in the game. I think they're 71 inch, the same as the Cat 745C. So yeah, it just goes like, instead of trying to cut through some terrains, it's a big enough wheel that it literally just rolls right over it, rather than trying to cut its way through. Just the centre point of the wheels is tall enough to just ride over the top of it and climb back out. It's also, one thing to this truck's credit, is it goes through the ice pretty well, like at the lake and stuff, where you can break through the ice. Again, because like of how tall the wheels are, I think it can just still bite its way back up, but some of the vehicles with small wheels, they essentially took under the ice. I've not had it happen for a while, actually. Not too long after the Lake Cod map was out, I was messing around. It was when I was using the loaf as a like icebreaker. I was driving the loaf into the ice and then winching it down the ice with like Bruce or whatever, and cracking all the ice going down it. But after doing that for a while, it had tucked the axles underneath the ice, and then I was basically driving the loaf along the ice, but every time I pressed reverse I'd go forward. And yeah, it's because like, I mean, the loaf, I think that's 33 inch wheels, that's like the smallest really in the game, and yeah, other trucks like 40-45 inch tyres and that, they can be a bit of a struggle. But to be fair, this thing is not too bad. It does tip more than the Cat 745C though. It certainly does tip a lot easier. Like, this truck feels pretty narrow, but it's not really. I think it's just quite tall. But then that cab on the back, I've seen a video of this truck on YouTube, like the real thing, and obviously that cab in the back is like a little, I think it had like a toilet in there and a bed and all just the normal things, but obviously in real life that would weigh absolutely sod all compared to the actual chassis and tyres of this truck and everything, whereas I think in this game they've kind of spread the weight out. Yeah, just that there is like probably more weight than there would be in real life sitting up high. But apart from that though, I really didn't like this thing at the start, and there's still issues with it that stop me enjoying it as often as I could be doing. But I don't know, it has grown on me a little bit. That's what she said. And yeah, there is elements of this I do quite like. I do take it out every now and then, but I suppose its biggest weakness, I may as well say it while we're going along, is it's just the articulated steering. It's not strong enough in certain conditions. But when you're just driving along, say, a yard like this, it works perfectly fine and it'll turn left or right, whatever you're doing. But if you're going down like a bit of an awkward path and you're, say, sinking in the mud a little bit and you lean into the left, trying to turn right, for example, is like you're basically trying to lift the front end of the cab up against gravity, and it's like this, yeah, it just doesn't really go too well in this game. Like, the pistons that are controlling the articulated steering need to be stronger. It needs to force its way to that angle, whether, like, that's basically why I'm going wide right now. And I wouldn't say like over exaggerating it as in I was leaving it on to make a point in the video, but I was just sort of testing it out a bit, going like left and right, and you can see that I think that's one thing that gets me with this is in various vehicles, obviously you've got different steering rates, but whether it's a slow or a fast steering rate, it remains the same, whereas in this truck, it can kind of go from fast steering to slow steering, like depending on the terrain, the angle, all the rest of it. So it can just catch you out sometimes like that. And it's the same with the Cat 745C. I say it's just the articulated steering, really. Yeah, this little section here, I don't know why it's such a troll, but it is. Again, it doesn't bother me. They've put a telegraph pole there, so it's pretty easy to get out of there, but it's just almost to the point where I believe actually going on the way through, this made it through without any winches, which is one of the few. There's my Voron AE. I actually did the mission earlier. Oh my god, I can't remember what it's called now. It's the one where you get the armoured cars, and oh, I don't know, there's a lot of faffing around in the end. I would have enjoyed the mission more. I think doing the metal detectors and having to find the armoured cars was just a bit too much faffing around, because it didn't really give you any direction or hint as to even where they'd be. I found the first one pretty quick. The second one was a bit longer. I'll probably make a video on it tomorrow, but to be honest, like, I wanted to make a bit of a shorter video. That ended up, like, it'll be a pretty long video, and yeah, just after completing the bloody thing tonight, I don't even know if I want to watch through it all again and edit it all out. Just need a little break from it. But yeah, I wanted to get that done because then I can go and get the airplane parts, which I'll be making a video on that as well. There's still, like, it's typical now. The update comes out. There's sort of 10 videos in a row I could want to make on any given day. So, but we'll get there. So going along like here, this thing does motor along pretty nicely because it's got nice tall wheels. And it's not the worst for tipping. Like, it definitely is worse than the Cat 745C, there's no doubt, but I always find if you know you're going to start tipping, put steering into it. Like, you're less likely to tip if you're articulated, because other than then just tipping, it's now got to kind of lift the nose up against the way it wants to tip. The old Vorongrad, I quite like that the Vorongrad, you can have like the big crane on it. And then this now is basically, I'm outside the garage, and this is going to that like blockage in the road. This is sort of up the left hand side of the map. There's a lot of mud, icy stuff through there, and yeah, normally I cut a lot right and go across that lake. And if I'm honest, yeah, haven't been there now, like I said, I still think that's possibly the better option overall. But yeah, it's another mission done. It's a bit of money, a bit of XP. It's still is a road clearance. Near where you clear the road is the V10 engine for the F750, so you may well end up going up to that corner anyway, in which case you may as well bring 2 lots of fuel with you, because yeah, once you get there you just drop the fuel off and it clears the road for you. You see there though, like as I went through that dip, I was trying to turn left then for ages, and it was just like not doing it really, because as I fell into the dip, like just yeah, almost gravity overpowered my steering and wouldn't let me just immediately steer right. So I went on like a big arc, and then I tried steering back left, and it was having none of it. And of course, as I can't help myself, I grabbed a loaf while I was going past the garage, just for fuel and repairs, just in case, or on the off chance, especially when I flew down that ditch a bit and it didn't let me steer. I just thought, if I do roll, obviously having a loaf as an option. Can't go wrong with a loaf. It's a goddamn horse of a vehicle. And you know, just seeing it then, it reminded me of, do you remember those like little cars for kids that were like red with a yellow roof? I can't remember what the make was, Play School or something. Most people must know what I'm on about. There was bloody millions of them in the 90s, and yeah, everyone seemed to have one, and my little sister had one. But obviously, because there was me and my 2 older brothers as well, we soon, well, she probably used it, got bored of it. We soon repurposed it for our own means, and yeah, what we used to do, we had like a really long path in the garden, and then at the end of the path it kind of jump off onto the grass, and then there was some like conifer trees sort of at the edge of the garden, and yeah, we all used to take it in turns to squeeze in this little fucking car. Literally it was like a Fred Flintstone type car. You put your legs out the bottom and run, but we were way too tall and everything to get our legs in there, so we'd end up being like legs sticking out the front where there's obviously no window. It's just like bars either side, or our legs sticking out the door or something. We'd all wedge ourselves in there, and then yeah, take it in turns, go pushing each other down this path, and then you had to kind of jump off the path. The front wheels are digging. To be fair, thinking about it, this thing was bloody well built, because the amount of abuse it got from us, and I don't think it ever broke that I can remember. And yeah, we used to jump off this path though, land like, dig the front wheels into the garden, and then we were seeing who could do the most rolls in this little car thing until we smashed into the hedge. It was pretty fun. I don't know why, just seeing the corner of that loaf then in that yellowish colour just reminded me of it. I was thinking this the other day, like the amount of stuff that I used to get up to even in the 90s and storage here and that is like, I was wondering if health and safety and everything kind of coincided with the availability of video cameras, because when you watch YouTube these days, like there's all kinds of mad stuff on there, but everyone can film stuff now. And I was just thinking the amount of stuff that I remember seeing or doing or taking part in or hearing about back in the day, like it's for the best really, like the 80s and 90s and everything. It didn't really appear on camera that much, because I think once you can watch videos back, people have got time to be like, yeah, that was fucking crazy, we should probably do something about that. Like that guy, the YouTube video always comes around on my YouTube like every 6 months odd, and I don't know why, it just makes me laugh, but like most of you must have seen this video of the guy that's put tannerite or something in a ride-on lawnmower, and then he's shooting at it, and he's stood pretty bloody close considering, as it turns out, how many explosives he put inside the thing. But he eventually obviously shoots the tannerite, the lawnmower blows up, slices his leg off. But I don't know why, his reaction always makes me laugh, where he's like, it hits him and he's like, I blew my leg off! Oh shit! It's such a good reaction to getting your leg blown off. And even though I've seen the video many times, every 6 months or so, YouTube decides it's time for me to see it again. And like I said, I know he'd lost his leg, but I mean, you put explosives in a lawnmower and shoot at it, you take your own risks. But yeah, imagine all the stuff that wasn't on camera. I mean, obviously when I was a kid there was like video cameras, but you certainly, I think my grandparents had a video camera, but I know we didn't. Like, yeah, even if you did, probably need like a small mortgage on it. So I remember my mum saying in the 80s or 90s she got finance on, what the hell was it, a video player I think, for like 800 quid. Which is pretty crazy, and I can't remember if I've said it already or not, but I think that was the one that, yeah, my brother Dave, what did he put in there? I think he put a sausage sandwich in there, and I put a honey sandwich in it, in the video player. I genuinely thought I'd see a honey sandwich on the screen, that's why I did it. Yeah, that's the mission done. Oh no, sorry, you have to go one step forward. I got there, I nearly bloody restarted the mission, just sort of autopilot pressing buttons. Yeah, just make sure you go to the second square, drop those barrels off, and we're done. Like I say, it's not a lot of money, not a whole lot of XP, but it does open the road up. Although, as you'll see as I drive off, basically to my left, in like the swampy area, is where you'll find the V10 upgrade. But straight ahead, there's quite a lot of snow, so I still think overall I'd rather cut over the lake. But anyway, that's about it for today though. That's a bit of a shorter video for once. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll probably do either armoured car mission, or I'll do one of the reviews on the trucks I've been wanting to do. I wonder if I would have tipped then if I wasn't winched the loaf. Anyway, that's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.